Welcome back to The Charismatic Voice. I recently heard Linkin Park's new co-lead singer, Emily, for the first time, and I was very impressed by her growls, and especially by the consistency of them and her breath control. However, I only heard a studio version, and now I want to listen to a live performance. Let's get to it.
It's good to see you again.
Ooh, I like this stage.
Your blade sharpened with precision, flashing your favorite point of view. I know you're waiting in the distance, just like you always do, just like you always do. Already pulling me in, already under my skin, and I know exactly how this ends. Just to watch me play, gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm hoping for what I won't receive, falling for the promise of the emptiness machine.
I think we're gonna get a big drop here, maybe hear Emily in here too, but I have to say right now, person that I'm really excited about is Mike Shinoda, right? Like, I've mostly heard him do rapping, just a little bit of cleans. This is so beautiful. It's like the melody is catchy. I love the words to it. I think Linkin Park's lyrics are just incredible. It really deals with internal struggles in a way that feels so human and also so poetic. It's like, it is the poetry of so many people today. And it's just like, says what their heart feels. So I think that's so beautiful. His voice is so clear, yet tender here. I hadn't realized that tenderness really existed in his sound. And it has there's a warmth to it. It's just unexpected. Let's go back to the beginning.
Good to see you again.
I love that smile too. It feels just so genuine.
Your blade sharpened with precision, flashing your favorite point of view. I know you're waiting in the distance, just like you always do, just like you always do. Already pulling me in, already under my skin, and I know exactly how this ends. I let you cut me open just to watch me play.
I think that's probably the chorus. I love that it is so bare when he first goes up into it. His voice gets a tiny bit more pressed in the creation of the sound and the larynx, just a little more pressed up. I really think you would see like the retinoids closer together. I know, nerdy. But the thing that I love so much, other than just like the shock of, wow, his tone is beautiful. It's even a little haunting. There is this perfect balance between a smooth use of air and his diction. When you think about singing and you compare it to other musical elements in a band, singing really is the line. It is usually the melody, and it needs to have a line that goes like this. If I'm going to talk about it in an orchestra, singing is like a violin. It sings, right? Some people talk about a violin singing. It has a fluidity and a consistency of these sound waves that's very legato, very connected, versus a drum kit. It's percussive. It has a lot more snap to it. The consonants of singing are like percussion. They actually divide up that beautiful violin-like melody. And you have to be careful because as a singer in a band, in an opera, whatever the group is, it's your job to carry the melody most of the time. Sometimes there'll be another instrument that takes it over for a guitar solo, for example. But most of the time, it's your job to carry a melody. And if your consonants are taking over the vowels, maybe they're being given too much time so that the vowels can't continue to carry a melody, you lose that beautiful line that draws people in so much. His consonants are so crisp and beautifully timed, as if they're like just like sprinkles that are going on top of this delicious cake of melody. This combination of beautiful breath flow that keeps that line going the whole time, and then the precise, exquisite consonants. It's a wonderful balance in the sound.
See you again. Your blades are sharpened with precision, flashing your favorite point of view. I know you're waiting in the distance.
It's almost got a fluffiness to it with that air support.
Just like you always do. Already pulling me in, already under my skin. And I know exactly how this ends. I let you cut me open just to watch
So
me
beautiful.
play. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm hoping for what I
Like that, don't know why I'm hoping. That's got such a beautiful coloring in the expression. It makes you want to give him a hug, right? Like that is just, oh, you just expressed the human condition so well. I think there's so many people that feel hopeless in their life, and at some point, I think a lot of us ask, why am I hoping for something to happen in this situation I know is just gonna fall apart no matter what I do? It's yeah, he captured that so beautifully with the words and the tone quality.
play. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm hoping for what I won't receive. Falling for the promise of the emptiness machine. The emptiness machine.
Going around like a revolver. It's been decided how we lose. 'Cause there's a fire under the altar. I keep on lying to. I keep on lying to. Already pulling me in. Already under my skin. And I know exactly how this ends. I let you cut me open just to watch me play. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm open for what I won't receive. Falling for the promise of the emptiness machine.
I think that they made an incredible choice, bringing her voice into Linkin Park. I know that I've heard so many things that refer to personal stuff, and there's a lot of other things out there. Let's talk about why Emily's voice really works here. I think this was, it's so hard to fill the shoes of a legend, right? And it's doubly hard because of how things ended. Like where do you go from there? But if you're going to continue the sound of the band, you need a voice that's going to have similarities. It needs to feel like it's just fraying apart at times. It needs to feel like it's almost bleeding with emotion that is distraught. But you can't have somebody who is trying to mimic Chester, really. You can't, you want to have that same feeling, but you can't have a copy. So I think you have to approach it from, how does another voice authentically get to the same message and emotion while not just copying your previous lead singer? That is extremely hard to find. Additionally, like, this was written for another, well, not this one, but a lot of their music was written for somebody else's voice, right? That's doubly hard, because then how do you find somebody who isn't just copying the previous singer? It's an extremely, extremely difficult task to try and fill the shoes of a lead singer legend in a band. It's just, gosh, I mean, one of the hardest things to do. So to go female so that it is inherently going to be so different is a great, great decision. And then let's talk about what her voice in particular is doing to fill this really aggressive role, really, in the band now. Oh, let's go back a little more. Back further, man. I let that run. So I love that entrance of hers, that it just is straight clean. We don't have any edginess to the sound yet. It's important, I think, that as a base of a sound, we have clean first. A lot of singers will try and make edgy or distorted sounds with their true vocal folds, and really you can end up doing some damage that way. And if I hear a singer enter with cleans and we know that they have their bass set, it's very encouraging.
Going around like a revolver. It's been decided how we lose.
She has a really fast vibrato that I didn't notice before. The end of her phrases there, extremely fast. I don't know if that's because she's nervous, because your vibrato tends to go faster when you're nervous or when you've had a lot of caffeine. But super fast vibrato. I'm curious what else she does with that as an expressive element. I don't know if she uses it too much. If she doesn't expand on that in this song or songs on this current release cycle, I would love to hear more expansion with that in the future, because I think that particular aspect brings so much vulnerability to a voice. Go back just a little more.
Going around like a revolver.
There it is, that fast vibrato.
It's been decided how we lose. 'Cause there's a fire under the
I love
altar.
that harmony. So that harmony is a little further split apart, and it's fairly stagnant as well. It makes it feel empty between the voices. Emptiness Machine, empty harmony there. Brilliant, brilliant choice of pitches.
There's a fire under the altar. I keep on lying to. I keep on lying to.
And as she's doing the eyes there, she's introducing a little distortion each time. That's actually a really good way to warm into distortion. Let's keep going.
Already pulling me in. Already under my skin. And I know exactly how this ends. I let you cut me open just to watch me play. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm open to what I won't receive. Falling for the promise of the emptiness machine.
She's got really, really good breath control in this live performance so far as well. I hear a lot of efficiency in the sound of the chords coming together, maybe even a tiny bit pressed there as well. It is very, there's a lot of pressure underneath. She has a driving, strong sound, but it sounds like it's very sustainable. She's being consistent with it. What I heard in the first song I heard in the studio version, I was not sure if the consistency in her volume levels would be part of production or if that would come through in a live. And obviously this live also is just really, really well mixed. There might be a little bit of production on it, I'm not sure. But her volume levels are very consistent. She's got that nice line going that Mike also had, but just in a very poignant, intense kind of way, like a lot more like she's got a dart flying through the air right at you. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the kind of distortion I hear in her voice, but I want to hear a little bit more of how she uses it. We're gonna go back a little bit. I can't get past that bridge. I know we're gonna talk about her vocals a lot more still, but we can't just fly past that bridge without talking about these lyrics. I read through them ahead of time like I usually do. I have my prep documents, talks about the singers that are going to be here and the band members, so I don't accidentally flub anybody's name because, oh my gosh, I've done that before and it's so embarrassing. But in that document, I also have lyrics, which I read through before I hear the song for the first time. And I was trying to figure out, what is this Emptiness Machine? Obviously, it's going to be very focused on internal struggle, or that's what we expect, at least when we hear Linkin Park, that we're going to be focused on internal struggle. And it really sounds to me like someone has lost themselves because they wanted to become a part of something. Or maybe they felt like someone else assigned a role that they had to play within a machine that just isn't fulfilling deep inside. And I think that so many times in life, people sort of slip into rules that others have defined for them, and then they struggle to redefine themselves and really be cut open, because any kind of change or redefining of the self is a very painful process usually. I definitely relate to this at different points in my life. I feel like one of the beauties of singing opera for years is that each time I went to a different location, I'd usually be there for a few months, sometimes a year, and I would get to redefine who I was in that new city or in that new country. All of the habits that you have get tossed up in the air, get broken. Sometimes you're learning a new culture at the same time while working with a new company on this role. And that sort of travel and breaking of my habits each time made it so I think I got to define myself really early on. And yes, there were expectations from the opera companies I was singing with or from people that I was around. But because those expectations were shed and then redefined so frequently, it was such a wonderful period of personal growth for me. And if any of you are ever wondering, like, oh, should I go for it, or should I take that huge trip, that travel opportunity? I think it's worth it. I think it's really worth it for people to travel or get out of their normal situation to help redefine and establish who they are. That's how I'm relating to this song. But I think that there are so many other ways that a person could relate to this. And I really would love to hear some personal stories from you about how this song touches you. I hear so much humanness here. It's beautiful. I'm sure it touches you guys in ways that I cannot even imagine right now. So please tell me about that. And let's keep, I went back already, so I'll press play. That is just so human.
I wanted to be part of.
I only wanted to be part of something. I only wanted to be part of. I only wanted to be part of.
Those harmonies are, again, fairly empty.
I only wanted to be part. Let you cut me open just to watch me play. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm open, so what can I am?
Wow. Mike came in there with a top harmony that was like on point. He's usually singing lows and he feels like his voice is more at home low, but that top sounded so easy. Her voice, it sounds like the distortion comes more easily when it's higher. I wanted to listen specifically for that. I've heard singers bring in distortion in so many different areas in their singing. And there's so many different ways, I think, to achieve some sort of growl, scream, edge, drive. There's so many different names for it. And honestly, one of the things that we're really hoping to get out of some of our research is to have some common terminology put together. But I like using the word distortion here because it's taking essentially a clean signal and adding noise to it. That clean signal is the true vocal folds, and they're creating their pitch. And then there's something that's adding noise. she's going back and forth between a little noise on the edge and then this purely clean belt. And it sounds to me like she's got a really good slider essentially on it. It almost sounds a little scary because it's so pressurized. It sounds like there's a lot of tension in here. But we have discovered that there are lots of different pieces of anatomy that can aid in creating these sounds. So if she was just creating these sounds on her true vocal folds, that's so much pressure and collision that's happening in an abnormal way as well. I would get concerned about the longevity of her voice. If she was creating this using an upper constriction, some people will call that a fry scream, but really fry scream defines a whole lot of different things in your throat that can be happening. We want to get a lot more specific than that. So I am going to leave it very broadly open to upper constriction right now because I don't know what anatomy she's using. If I really wanted to know that, I would need to see down her throat with a camera and then also see in DMRI because she might be constricting multiple points along the way. And if we're just looking down, we won't really see past that first constriction. So in order to really understand what she's doing, I'd want to have at least a couple of intensive tests run. But it does sound to me like she has some sort of upper constriction that is being used to create the distortion in addition to her true vocal folds. And that might be part of the reason we see so much pressure build up as well, because that's a lot of air pressure necessary to keep a lot of different things in the throat going wacka wacka or smacka smacka together. Let's go back a little bit.
Open just to watch me play.
Oh, like check this out. This is one of the things I've just visibly noticed about singers. Look at what she's doing with her arms and her shoulders.
That you call me open just to watch me play.
So I've seen this happen with several female harsh vocalists in particular. And I think about Tatiana from Ginger especially. She does some really great one takes with just an incredible camera view, and you can see what she's doing with her shoulders there. Courtney LaPlante as well. I think that the closest in the actual vocal style are going to be Courtney LaPlante and Emily here. But we're seeing a lot, I've seen a lot more of this kind of upper body, it's almost like a slamming that's happening. If we were to see that in opera, it would be very, very concerning because that means that somebody is just hawking a ton of pressure, all of a sudden going and getting it even more pressurized beneath the vocal folds. That creates more collision force, and heavy, heavy collision forces like that over time lead to vocal damage. But we're seeing this, I've seen it especially within harsh vocalists. And the amount of air pressure that's needed to get some of these upper pieces of upper laryngeal anatomy, to get some of those structures moving, we don't really have much information on them. They don't seem to be as fussy or really delicate flowers like the true vocal folds are. So it's possible that in needing to get so many structures moving, we might need more breath pressure. That's just one theory. We need to verify this. But it is a trend I have seen that it seems like there's a certain whoosh, body that's being a body action that goes with bringing some more distortion into the sound. Is it healthy long-term? We have no data. Like we really don't on that. We are gathering data. There's an amazing study that was done, I think in Germany, that said basically, we don't find that I think it was rock singers, it might have been metal singers as well, are treatment seeking. So we're not seeing heavy singers coming in and complaining about vocal nodules. We don't see this treatment seeking in this genre the same way that we've seen it in opera and pop and musical theater. So that's indicative that it's probably quite sustainable, but we still need a lot more data. And honestly, when we get down to specifically like primarily harsh vocalists, there's such little data available, especially when we start thinking about having things like DMRI as well involved in those studies. So is it sustainable long-term? I don't have enough data to really truly tell you that right now. And I don't know what she's doing in her throat. But I think it could be.
Wanted to be part of something. I only wanted to be part. That you cut me open just to watch me play.
I love that. The way she flipped back to total cleans right after that moment is very indicative that it would be great long term. If you're able to go back and forth like that and be cleanly connected again, it's a great sign. Also, she makes me think of Ronnie Radke from Falling in Reverse, whose voices just continue to get better and better and better over time and has crazy awesome screams.
That you cut me open just to watch me play. Gave up who I am for who you wanted me to be. Don't know why I'm open, so fucking I am. Falling for the promise of the emptiness machine. The emptiness machine. I only wanted to be part of the emptiness machine. I only wanted to be part of the emptiness machine.
Just those last few phrases had so little time between them. When I talk about good breath control and management, this is such a great example. She is solid here.
The emptiness machine. I only wanted to be
So stable.
the emptiness machine. I only wanted to be part of the emptiness machine.
Wow. I love this venue
Ladies
too.
and gentlemen, that is Emily Armstrong.
Nice. This is so exciting. I am really pumped for this next chapter in Linkin Park's music creation. It still is incredibly touching and human. I feel that this has been an incredible evolution of the band, and I just want to hear more. So thank you to all of you who've been recommending Linkin Park, and also just thank you to the band, and thank you to Emily. I feel that this was bold and the right way to go. If y'all want to hear some more Linkin Park analysis and maybe a little extra analysis of distortion thrown in there too, check out this playlist over here. And may you fall more in love with music every day.